Deep in the misty mountains and dense rainforests of Laos lives one of the rarest and most mysterious animals on Earth, the saola. Known as the Asian unicorn because of its long, elegant horns, the saola is a gentle and secretive creature. It was only discovered by science in 1992, making it one of the most exciting wildlife discoveries of the 20th century. The saola lives in the Annamite Range, a chain of mountains along the Laos-Vietnam border. These remote, evergreen forests are rich with life, cool streams, and thick vegetation, the perfect home for this shy mammal. The saola is very unique. Its horns are long and almost perfectly straight, growing up to 50 centimeters. Both males and females have horns, which is unusual for many animals. The saola has a dark brown coat, white facial markings, and large scent glands on its face. It is related to cattle, but is unlike any other known species. Because it is so rare and lives in remote areas, very few people have ever seen a saola in the wild. Unfortunately, the saola is now critically endangered. Its population is extremely small. Scientists estimate fewer than 100 remain, and it could be as few as 20. This makes it one of the most endangered mammals in the world. One of the biggest threats to the saola is hunting. People do not hunt saolas directly, but they set thousands of wire snares in the forest to catch wild pigs, deer, and other animals. These snares are cheap and easy to make, but they are deadly. Saolas often get caught accidentally, and once trapped, they cannot escape. Even one snare can kill such a rare animal. Habitat loss is another serious problem. As roads, farms, and villages expand, the rainforest is being cut down. Logging and development are destroying the saola's home and dividing it into small, isolated areas. When the forest is broken up, saolas have less space to find food, water, and mates. They also become more vulnerable to hunters and snares. Climate change adds another layer of danger. Changes in temperature and rainfall can affect the saola's fragile habitat. As the forest becomes drier or less healthy, the saola has fewer safe places to live. Conservationists, local communities, and governments are now working together to save the saola before it is too late. Patrol teams are going into the forest to remove snares and stop illegal hunting. Protected areas are being created to keep the forest safe. Some organizations are helping local people develop new ways to make a living without relying on hunting or logging. Another important effort is the saola conservation breeding program. Because the wild population is so low, experts are planning to build special breeding centers where saolas can live safely. If they can breed successfully, young saolas can later be released back into protected forests to help rebuild the wild population. Education also plays a big role. Many local people now understand that the saola is not just another wild animal. It is a national treasure. Protecting it means protecting their forest, their culture, and their future. When communities are involved, conservation becomes stronger and more successful. Saving the saola is not just about one species. The rainforest where it lives is home to countless other animals and plants, some found nowhere else in the world. By protecting the saola's habitat, we also protect these species, keep water sources clean, store carbon to fight climate change, and support the health of the entire ecosystem. The saola stands as a symbol of hope. Even though it is one of the world's rarest animals, there is still a chance to save it. But time is running out. If we act together, governments, conservationists, scientists, and local communities, we can keep the saola alive for future generations. The story of the saola is a story of the Laos rainforest itself. Beautiful, fragile, and worth protecting. When we save the saola, we save the forest. When we save the forest, we help save our planet. The rainforest offers all it needs: cover for hiding, plants for grazing, and rugged terrain to escape predators. In these pockets of wilderness, the Muntjac thrives, moving alone through a patchwork of microhabitats that give it both food and refuge. The Annamite mountains of central Laos, especially regions like Nakhai Nam Theun National Park, provide vital habitat for the northern red muntjac. Here, in forests draped with vines and thick with ferns, the muntjac lives a life of secrecy and alertness. It prefers mid-elevation zones around 1,000 to 1,500 meters, where canopy cover is dense and human presence is low. The rainforest offers all it needs: cover for hiding, plants for grazing, and rugged terrain to escape predators. In these pockets of wilderness, the Muntjac thrives, moving alone through a patchwork of microhabitats that give it both food and refuge. Despite its adaptability, the northern red muntjac is under threat in Laos. The biggest dangers come not from natural predators, but from humans. Snaring and poaching are rampant in many forests, driven by the illegal wildlife trade and demand for bushmeat. Snares, cheap, silent, and indiscriminate, capture any animal that crosses their path. The muntjac, curious or unaware, often becomes a victim. Habitat loss is another growing threat. As roads are built, forests cleared, and agriculture expanded, the once continuous habitat is sliced into fragments. With each road and clearing, human access increases, and with it, hunting pressure. Research has shown that muntjac populations are significantly lower in accessible areas. In protected areas like Nakai Nam Theun, camera traps reveal that muntjacs prefer remote, rugged zones where humans rarely tread. But even these refugees are shrinking. Despite the pressures, the northern red muntjac remains surprisingly resilient. It can survive in secondary forests, and sometimes even in agricultural landscapes, provided there is enough cover. In parts of Laos, it has been recorded visiting shade-grown coffee farms, slipping in and out of human-modified areas under the safety of tree canopy and thick undergrowth. Its continued presence in these areas offers a glimmer of hope that if given enough space, and if hunting is controlled, the species can coexist with sustainable land use. Efforts are underway in Laos to protect forest habitats and monitor wildlife populations. National parks and conservation zones offer some level of protection, though enforcement remains challenging in remote areas. Community-based conservation programs are critical. By working with local people to reduce snaring, promote alternative livelihoods, and protect wildlife, it's possible to reduce the pressure on species like the muntjac. Education and outreach, especially about the ecological role of species like muntjacs, help foster a sense of stewardship in forest communities. Scientific research, too, plays a role. Camera trap studies, habitat mapping, and biodiversity monitoring help us understand where and how muntjacs live and what they need to survive. The northern red muntjac is not yet endangered, but it is a warning. A forest once filled with its bark may fall silent, not from a single threat, but from a slow erosion of wildness. One snare, one road, one forest clearing at a time. Its story is not just one of a deer. It is the story of a forest, of what is left. and what might be lost. And it is a call to action to protect not just the Muntjac, but the complex, beautiful web of life it represents. In the end, the survival of the barking deer is a test of our will to preserve the natural world, not only for its own sake, but for the generations to come, who deserve to hear its call echo through a living, breathing forest. The clouded leopard, Neophalus nebulosa, is smaller than a tiger, but no less powerful. With its cloud-like spots and long, flexible body, it is built for stealth and agility. Unlike other big cats, it spends much of its life above ground, climbing trees with unmatched skill, using its long tail for balance. Its jaws are powerful enough to take down prey much larger than itself, from macaques and barking deer to wild pheasants. Yet despite this mastery, it remains one of the least understood predators on Earth. The Laos rainforest is a living cathedral, layered in green, soaked in mist. From the forest floor's wet soil to the high canopy, every inch teems with life. Hornbills, slow lorisas, sambar deer, and countless insects. Here, the clouded leopard is both hunter and guardian, keeping the ecosystem in balance by controlling prey populations. But this ancient equilibrium is breaking. Across Laos, the rainforest is shrinking. Illegal logging, agriculture, and infrastructure carve deep wounds into the land. Each fallen tree means less territory for the leopard to roam, and fewer trees mean fewer paths through its treetop world. Poaching adds another threat. Their beautiful pelts, their bones, their very existence, hunted for profit and superstition. In many regions, their cries have fallen silent forever. But in the shadow of destruction, there is hope. Local conservation groups, forest rangers, and indigenous communities the true guardians of Laos's wilderness, are rising to protect this vanishing cat. In the Nam Et Pho, Loei National Park, motion-triggered cameras capture rare glimpses of the clouded leopard prowling at night, proof that the ghost still walks. Conservationists are working with tribal knowledge, combining ancient wisdom and modern science to protect the forest's heart. Every paw print recorded, every camera trap triggered, brings us closer to understanding and saving this mysterious predator. The story of the clouded leopard is not just about survival, it is about coexistence. As the forest breathes, so does life itself. Protecting this elusive cat means protecting the rivers, the trees, the air we all share. And perhaps, if we listen closely to the whispers of the rainforest, we will hear the footsteps of the clouded leopard, still free, still watching, still a ghost in the mist. The tiger story in Laos is the story of the forest itself. For generations, tigers hunted along river bottoms and limestone ridges, shaping herds of deer and wild pigs. They kept balance. When they vanished, the balance shifted. The loss did not happen in a single moment. It came in waves, wire, roads, hunger, trade. Hunting changed everything. Not the lone hunter with a rifle, but the snare. Simple, cheap loops of wire set by the hundreds. Snares do not aim. They wait. Anything that walks is caught. Muntjac and sambar, wild pigs and civets, even leopards and dholes. Sometimes an elephant. When prey disappears, the tiger starves. When a tiger steps into a loop, the forest loses its top hunter. In protected areas that should have been safe, patrols lifted coils of wire by the sackful. What looked like wilderness had become a quiet trap. The trade that drives this killing moves fast and far. Bush meat fuels local markets. Skins and bones feed cross-border networks. Each new road pushes deeper into the hills, turning a day's walk into an hour's drive. Logging tracks and dam roads, made for commerce, become paths for poachers. Wire in, wildlife out. The profit flows one way. The cost stays in the forest. Habitat loss added pressure the forest could not absorb. Hydropower reservoirs drowned valleys. Plantation agriculture replaced mixed forest with single crops. Mining camps and scattered settlements pushed into buffer zones. The result is fragmentation, patches of habitat cut apart by open ground and busy roads. A tiger needs room to hunt, to hide, to raise cubs, to move between seasons. Islands of forest are not enough. Edges multiply. Human pressure climbs. Conflict grows more likely. And where there are snares, edges are deadly. So the numbers turned. In Laos today, there are no confirmed wild tigers. In neighboring Vietnam and Cambodia, tigers are also considered gone. Small breeding populations survive across the border in Thailand, and possibly in parts of Myanmar, where protection is strong. These are the low numbers, the stark reality in the greater Mekong. But there is another column of numbers. In India and Nepal, years of hard protection have pushed tiger populations upward. Across Asia, the best global estimate in the early 2020s sits around 4,500 wild tigers, more than a decade ago, though still far from secure. High numbers in a few places show what is possible. Low numbers here show how far there is to go. Yet the forest is not empty of hope. In Laos, rangers walk long ridges and deep creeks, lifting snares one by one. They map patrols, share intelligence, and shut down camps. Camera traps blink in the dark, and in some places, the first to return are the prey. Deer stepping softly, wild pigs rooting, gar moving like shadows between trees. Each image is a small proof that protection works when it is consistent, well led, and backed by real consequences for trade. People stand at the center of any future for tigers in Laos. Villages on the forest edge often know the forest best. When protection brings steady income, jobs with ranger teams, stipends for snare-free forests, support for health and education, people protect. When forests are only a cost, snares return. Conservation that lasts is practical. Clear rules, fair benefits, trust built patrol by patrol and meeting by meeting. Co-management, where communities and the state share responsibility, turns enforcement into partnership. The path back to stripes in Laos is clear, though it is long. First, rebuild the pantry. That means removing snares relentlessly and stopping commercial hunting so prey can recover. It means protecting salt licks and river corridors and keeping new roads out of core habitat. Second, make protection real. Pay and equip ranger teams well. Use strong laws against traders and repeat offenders. Work across borders, because wildlife crime does not stop at a line on a map. Third, put people first. Link conservation results to real benefits. Reward villages that keep forests snare-free. Support livelihoods that do not empty the hills of wildlife. Only after years of proof, healthy herds of deer and pigs, snares kept to near zero, patrols that hold the line, should reintroduction be considered. The tigers would need to be the right subspecies, with careful sourcing and health checks. Releases would happen step by step, into large, well-secured areas, with soft release pens and intensive monitoring. Corridors to neighboring strongholds would matter, so tigers can find mates and new territory. This is not a moment. It is a decade of work, supported by steady funding and public will.